it just feels like we're not using the idea of presentation or PowerPoints or Google Slides, whatever, the right way. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, yeah. So a pre-read, well, we have two. So there's a slideshow. There's like, oh, I need to do a
Mm-hmm.
slide because there's the word presentation. Well, people use presentations very, very
Right.
dense. They use presentations to stand up in front of a cinematic experience. So we've kind of divided them into slideshow and slide doc. Okay, so a slide doc is
Right.
readable, it's denser, its complete sentence is it's conceptual. Slide docs are usually to inform or to make a recommendation is how we kind of divide that up. It's like you put a proposal in denser internally, like if you were to present to your exec team, you need to know, hey, do they like a slideshow or do they want to read and have a conversation? Because a lot of people, a
Right.
lot of companies, we're encouraging them, hey, just read for a few minutes and then use the meeting time when we're in the room together to have a conversation. And so there's
Right.
the density thing is fair, but the slide doc is purpose built for a certain purpose, and you just need to understand it. So some people think like an internal update about how we're doing on a project. That can be a slide doc. It can have a higher density. We're only 4 feet away from the plasma display on the wall. And we all know, we're all
Mm-hmm.
familiar. We're doing that project update every single week. So we're familiar with the slides. The slides just had new numbers put in it. That doesn't
Mm-hmm.
justify the every project manager every week to stand and deliver a cinematic talk, right? So you just got to make
Right.
your own culture and say, hey, this nature of this kind of meeting, come prepared with this nature of this kind of meeting, come prepared with that. Now, when it comes to customers, that's a little bit different, but I think the
Sure.
nature of what we're doing is can drive how we show up. And yeah, we have clients who will ask us to make a slide doc for people who want to read, and the same thing as a slideshow for people who want to have it be presented. And that's when it's really high stakes. This is kind of
Right.
save the world kind of kind of stuff, because you want to say enough to open the door, but then they want to have you show up with a cinematic talk. For
Mm-hmm.
for sales, you got to map out your sales process. Sometimes, and the salespeople need to listen, because sometimes they might say, "Well, how do you compare to your competitor?" You don't need to go through an entire deck. Just have a 2-column thing that shows, with 6 points about how you beat the pants off your competitor.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we're like, oh, I need a whole deck. I need a whole deck. It's like, oh, let me show you an image, or let me snap an image and pop it into the chat. So the more we can visualize, the better, but it doesn't mean you need to pop open a 40-page deck to answer the client's
Right.
questions, just because that's, just
Yeah.
because it's like, you know, so it just kind of all depends.